It's so important. The imagination is such a rich gift. And if you have a gift, you have to honor the gift. And this is where art, it's the humanities. It's so important. It enriches the community, it enriches the life. If you consider your homes, people that are not creative, they have adapted so much art into their homes. It's in their placemats, it's in the rugs, it's in the design of their homes, it's on the walls. You know, art is everywhere, and it's stimulating. It stimulates the mind, the thinking, the creative, the imagination. The humanities, they're very important. And the creative people are there to be able to share that. Movement, it ties absolutely into the way I see my sculpture. And so that plays into the technique and the process of the sculpture. So the tactility requires a surface that's very seductive to make someone touch. And through touch, that initiates movement. The countryside, the nature, it's a stimulating place. It's got the quiet, it's got the atmosphere, it's got the wildlife, it's got visitors. It's sort of open-ended to just a peaceful, sort of creative space. I find the studio space very important because I have the freedom to imagine. It's like whatever I might be doing technically, it's, you know, this is what you do, but you're free to think and to imagine. Almost there. And I can still bend it closer. So this, then I would have the bigger loop, 2, had come together with the steel in the water hose, and I could weld it here, weld it there, and then I have the bigger hoop. And then onto this, I would weld a shorter prong to be able to add this. This is another offering, and it was one of the earlier pieces, and it's really based on my family. It's called The Roots. This would be the present, the house and the tree and the branches. This represents the past. So in order to, it's a combination of steel, welded steel, and cast bronze. In order to make the root sort of, I can only take a real root or branch from a tree and then have it cast into bronze. Because to just use the root, it would become dry and brittle. It would be breakable. So this root representing the root of generations of the past, and this branch had to reach all the way to the tip. And then to reemerge on the top, above the offering, the vessel. Above that is the farmhouse with 4 branches, which represents my family. My father, my mother, my brother, myself. I believe I was always highly imaginative. And there was a space of time and sort of imagining and dreaming on the farm. It's a different life than city life because it's more isolated. We were very isolated on the farm. I grew up on a sort of a relatively poor homestead. So everything we had, we made. So I think that stimulated and encouraged imagination. Persistence was always a strong part in my mind. And I would dream up ideas in the middle of the night. And these aspects in my imagination haven't changed. This has continued throughout my life. I do think about my sculpture. I take the ideas to bed with me, and they reach a kind of fruition in that state of half wake, half sleep. So I think in 2011, we established a foundation, and it's a Kiyooka Arts Centre, and is becoming a Alberta sculpture park. We have Alex Caldwell's, we have Ohe's, we have a Chris Eckhart. We have a number of pieces either surrounding the space around the house or in the sculpture, the 10-acre sculpture park in the front. This is a garden that goes all the way around the house. This sculpture one that was built at Dominion Bridge by me, and it's called Mother and Turtle. And the reason for Mother and Turtle is it reminded me of the shape of a turtle. My figure period, and it's my first welded sculpture. At the time, I was working with clay, and my crackpots became columns. I said these are all individual pots with a hole in the bottom and a neck so that the individual orbs can be stacked on a pipe. The idea is there, and I might make some very rough sketches to give it an outline, but I'm not really a drawer. I do make collages that reflect this sculpture, but not initiate the sculpture. This became a print. This became a print. This became a print at the Doodle Tower. This exhibition at the Esker, it's been profound. I can't express my gratitude of how organized and timely. And, the Esker team, they turned over every rock to bring this exhibition together. As well, it gives me, again, a new insight of the evolution of my work over 60 years. I remember very, very clearly the decisive decisions between one piece and another and another. So seeing this exhibition, it's wonderful. And all the work and thought that's been given into pulling all this work together. It's like get the viewer to experience form totally and to think about it and experience it and initiate it. You see the work, and then there's enough of a clue in the work to stimulate curiosity and attract touch. It's an attractive and a mystical kind of experience. I've been very, very fortunate to have a constant creative life. And I think that's significant. My biggest fear would be to ever stop. If you stop, you have to find a way to start because you've lost sight of where you've been.